Oh, there it goes.
We're going? Okay, good morning, guys. I want to share some things with you guys this morning. Yesterday, rough day, to say the least. It started out with first off, I always like to use live scenarios that happen at our site, right? It's not that I don't care about the rest of the company, because I certainly do. But my main concern and main importance, and I learned this after being gone, and yesterday, is Bemidji's site. This is our site, what I'm responsible for, what you're responsible for. So the day started out yesterday with Ray, pardon the phrase, having some red ass about some things, okay? So I had a conversation with Ray yesterday afternoon about how does that leave the team, Ray, when we start the day like that?
Have a bad attitude.
Okay.
It rubs off on everybody, and we all have the same attitude.
So what kind of issues can that cause when we're all jumping in 50,000 pound trucks if we walk out of here in the wrong mindset?
Accidents, you're not mindset, right?
Okay. And again, I like to use live things. I'm not calling anybody out, and I appreciate everybody's participation. As I was going to an injury report yesterday, Nate had an injury with his thumb. Was taking Brian out there because Brian was going to retrieve the truck because Brian was broke down after we haven't had any breakdowns or downtime for quite some time. Joey's done a very nice job with that. So Brian volunteered to help, which I appreciate. Thank you. Nate, thanks for calling it in right away and doing what was right. So I asked Brian, I said, what do you think's going on? Because all of a sudden, after we went 6 months square without even so much as a tick, at the beginning of the year we celebrated. We SDO certified, gold status, good as you can get, hitting on all cylinders. The last 6 months, though, things have trended the other way. Just to put it politely, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I never do. So Brian says a couple things. He said, I think you're throwing some of these guys to the wolves. You're throwing them in there too quick without any training or anything. We go by the company standard training. It's not the first time I've heard that. I appreciate your feedback. I'm not here to agree or disagree. I'm here to make it better, forward progress. What was something else you told me, Brian? Refresh my memory.
Mental, he's still in the mental state of go, 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 as quick as.
I think Brian said rushing in particular, didn't you?
Yep.
One of the safe start deals.
Yep.
So that we're rushing, and I can go around the room, and I'm going to. Gary, what happened to you earlier in the year?
My
With a sliced thumb?
yeah.
Okay. John, I think every one of us has got something to share. I'm not going to be negative Nelly. I'm working towards something here. So anything that went on with you could have done differently, should have done differently, incident, accident, injury. Okay. I'm like an elephant, guys. One day I look out my window and John's up in a 50-yard, and he's climbed up top of it, and he's dancing the wall up there, no hard hat, no safety glasses, no gloves, and he's digging in that box up there. And I think, Gary, you had the forklift raised up.
Yep.
That's a recipe to kill yourself, okay? So when we talk about frequency, severity, Paul, anything go on with you this year?
I don't think so, huh?
Close your gate up at Turtle River Chop House?
Oh, back into it.
Okay. I'm not calling you guys out, but I'm setting the trend here. Brian, you?
Nope.
Nothing that you know of or aware of? Was there some damage done to your truck, maybe when you were gone? Okay. Reeving cylinder cover, mirror, on that particular truck?
How am I supposed to?
I didn't say you, I said particularly maybe when you were gone or damage we didn't notice. If it caught a tree or something, I don't know how it happened, but I'm just saying. On the truck, I'm not calling anybody out, but I'm just going through it. Ray?
Innocent old lady back there.
Okay. Brad?
Refresh me.
Okay.
Don't know that.
How about something simple as we hauled with the rubber tarp and it tore and we got a notice of
Well,
violation?
you want to get started with them rubber
So,
tarps?
I'm not-
We can go for a while on that
I'm
one.
talking about incidences, guys, and things that happen every day. I'm not talking about we did it, you're responsible for it, it was your fault. What I'm talking about is the trends that happen. Even when we don't know or we don't have any control over it. Marvin, anything this year? your truck didn't act up all year and give you complete fits and
You never
throw
know.
your route times off and everything else. It can be the smallest of things.
What's it
guys.
down 13 months now?
Okay, Brian,
I had a couple. Besides breakdown yesterday, I was out real late one night on Mars Route when the roads were real icy because of slow driving.
okay. How about yesterday? What'd you tell me about your wrist?
Oh, I jammed it one day.
So how often do we have things happen that we don't report?
I would assume quite a bit.
Okay. Jeremy, you're pretty fresh. Anything yet that you can think of? Were you not in a truck when we had a backing incident? You backed into an unattended parked car, correct? So, there's two people in the truck, guys. What should one guy have been doing at the very least?
Flagging,
For the new guys, Brian, what is that?
Spotting.
spotting behind.
Spotting when you
standing
backed up,
behind.
right? Did that happen in that incident? Okay. Nate, couple, three things that come to mind?
We start the top of the list too.
Okay. All right, so, and what I'm saying is, and although I'm asking you by name, Steve came in to me the other day, I think Joey was sitting in the office and maybe John, and said, I just slid the truck around the corner, thank God I pulled the fuse on the drive cam. What kind of an offense is that, Joey?
It's a violation. You're messing with the drive cam.
What is, if they find that, they investigate that and find that to be for real, what happens?
You're fired.
Fired.
It's termination, okay?
It's an LCRA.
Very good, thank you. Gary Ward, multiple equipment destructions. George Severson, before he left here, when he came in to quit, he said, "You're too safe." He had smashed into somebody's pickup truck that works with us, out of his frustration and his angst and his rushing to get out of here because he was being talked to about one day when he almost backed Ray over and his response was, "Ray doesn't matter." We always talk about the good things, we recognize the good things, and we'll never stop doing that, and kudos to everybody. But, you guys see where I'm going with this? The frequency, severity. Ray, look at how that just changed you. That guy is coming back here for the third-party contractor that the county has hired to haul trash out of here. Is there anyone in this room, and I know some of you are friends with them and potentially related to them, is there anybody in this room that wants to be anywhere near that guy when he's in a vehicle? And I don't dislike George. I'm fine with George himself. But that's only two things. So, Bob Revering, these are facts, guys. A wheel off, 100% preventable. Was told to sit tight, somebody was en route to pick him up. $30,000 fines, $25,000 fine. Tip of your thumb. Your slice, workers' comp, Jacob Gershamel. This is where Brian told me yesterday he thought that we threw him out there too soon. He's out humping containers, it's icy, they're stuck, not using winch cables, using brute force and everything else. I appreciate you guys getting your routes done every day. What could we have done differently? And he may or may not be sitting till the end of the year, and potentially longer, not being able to use his hands.
Thought of the little tricks where let the truck work for you, so you not work for the truck.
A rear load truck's a beautiful thing, right? It's got a kick bar, winch cable. Those are all dangerous though too. You get your fingers and hands caught in them, right? So every day I want you guys to think, frequency, severity. I don't want to take away from the great things that we're doing. We're going to continue to do them. But every day, which hand are you using to operate your controls?
Left hand.
Okay, when you're on the tipping floor, are you wearing your proper PPE? Are you wearing your Neos? You know, are we taking the precautions and using the tools that we have every day? Because what, Nate, and I'm gonna ask you this question because Nate and I have went through a couple things since he started and I wasn't on the site, and we've talked several times. With frequency, severity, for you new guys, what happens when we trend that way? What are we on the fast track to?
Something serious happened.
Okay, in this company, they call it a critical, a fatality. And you guys can walk away upset with me for this morning's lunch if you want to or not, but if you go home at the end of the day and you're pissed at me, I'm happy. Okay?
I think what everybody's gonna do is think outside the box. every task that you're doing, you have to use the knowledge that you hear in here and apply it. Whatever you're doing. You're back and driving, turning, whatever, you just have to stop and think.
That brings me to my next question,
Well, to
Brad.
add to what
Why
Brian
why
said-
do we share this stuff?
To add to what Brian's saying, in the training is pretty fresh, and I'm embarrassed that it is, but everything.
Don't be embarrassed.
Everything, whether it be your personal life or work life, has in there, there's risk to it. And our job is to assess that risk and proceed.
To minimize.
And every task you're doing.
Every task.
I mean, you're coming
Every
to an
single-
intersection, you're pulling a container. You
You're
have to be
trying to
thinking
turn
one
buckle.
step ahead of what could happen to me, how can I get out of this, how am I gonna stay safe?
Right.
If you don't do that, if you're just getting in the safety meeting, listening to it, and walking out the door and forgetting about it, then you're missing the whole ballpark.
Right.
But if you're going down the road and you're driving, well, damn, it's icier than hell, I gotta slow down. Or I got 12 cars and people are, you know, I'm in a bad situation, I'm gonna pull over, let them go by, and then I'll keep going. You're assessing yourself all the time, which is gonna help you in the long run. You can't worry about, I'm supposed to be done at 2:30. That should be the last thing you're ever thinking about your whole day.
That's a really good point.
You know, your task at hand is what you're worried about, not a time set for you. Get the job done safe, and, you know, it is what it is, it's Mother nature.
That's like Gary and I today, you know, there's roughly 170 stops that I gotta knock out today between what got left yesterday and today. And Gary's got his route, and then he's gonna come help me. So we've gotta keep that mindset, don't worry about it, it'll get done when it gets done.
One stop at a time, guys.
Yep.
One stop at a time. Teamwork, yes. Very good stuff this morning, guys. As always at this site, we go with what's honest and what's really going on. I want to leave you with one thought. We've all, including myself, have done things, forgotten things, coached each other on safety things. So remember the guys that are not standing here that lost their job because of safety, or that voluntarily gave up their job because of safety. Safety isn't by accident, and it's not lucky. You know, Dave Benson comes to mind. Absolutely great guy. In the end, it was a small thing that he did. He called right away and he said, you know I did it, I'm trying so hard not to. And it cost him because of the events that led up to that, the frequency, severity, the frequency of it that led up to it in the end. You know, so let's not forget that, and let's not forget what's the most important thing we do every day. It's not just during the holidays. You guys coach each other, help each other, you know, train each other. You don't have to ask permission to do that, please. Let's have a great and safe day. We don't have any more front load trucks, but if you can cut it, if anybody can